All right, Matthew Oliver, House of Oliver, and here we are with a bunch of patriots and radicals who are fighting and standing up for freedom. Some amazing ladies. We are literally days away from a historic, monumental event, the recall of a sitting governor. It's only the second time in state's history that this has happened. And the recall of Gavin Newsom. And I'm surrounded virtually by the ladies who helped make this happen. But why don't we do a couple of things and have each one of you, we'll start with Amy, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what got you involved in the recall.
My name's Amy Reichert. I'm one of the leaders for Reopen San Diego, and we started right here in San Diego. We are a group of moms and dads who just wanted to get together to process what the lockdowns and the shutdowns were doing to us and our businesses. And what we found out was a lot of our kids had been trapped in front of screens for months. And so by creating this safe community, it was one of the first times our kids really had a chance to even see another kid, let alone play with another kid in months. And Gavin Newsom, not only did he shut down schools, but he shut down youth sports, and he even shut down playgrounds.
So my name is Yvette Corcoran. I am a registered nurse. I live in San Francisco, the belly of the beast. Jesus, it's tough living here. Yeah, it's a mess. I got involved in probably October, well, I don't know, I think even before October, collecting signatures, meeting new people. I mean, it's tough to be in my, to have the beliefs and views that I have here in San Francisco, especially.
You mean beliefs and views like the Constitution and freedoms and rights?
You're right.
Very difficult, very difficult.
Thinking anything other than what they're shoving down our throats, basically. I think I specifically said that yesterday at the state capitol.
Were you politically active prior to the recall?
I've always voted. I've always had my beliefs, but I've never really gotten involved. And let me tell you, I've gotten more. I'm like so involved. It's crazy right now.
Okay, Angela, give us your story.
Hey. So, I mean, you guys obviously know may or may not, but I own a pub in Sherman Oaks, and I had a video that went viral. And through that video, people from all over the world, all over the United States, and all over California donated and saved my pub. And I'm sorry, I've been speaking for 2 days, and I get emotional still. But when that happened, that was a miracle. And I do believe in God. And I literally was done. When I did that video, I had run out of the $180,000 disaster loan that I had taken out for the year. And I was moving back to Indiana to live with my mom and was going to have to file bankruptcy and everything. And people saved me. And my mom worked in a bread factory her whole life. And she's always been a woman that said, lead with action. I had so many people save me and call me and say, please don't give up. We need you. Please keep fighting. Please keep speaking. Even from all over the world, from Denmark, from Canada. You don't understand. You guys are the front lines. You guys can't fall. So I joined the recall and called, Mike and I said, what can I do? And he said, well, will you go and speak? So I went to Joe Collins' campaign and started speaking all over, and I have not stopped doing interviews.
I'm having a bit of a nerdy, geeky freak out moment because I don't quite think I fully realized you were going to be on this. And to me, and there's not a lot of people that I look at and go, I want to know them. I need their autograph. They're the person I've looked up to during this. So as one restaurant owner to another, and somebody who's caused absolute chaos to another, and one who stood for freedom and fought for my workers and my employees and have gone through. My wife and I were watching the film again yesterday on the recall, the state of, what do they call it? State of corruption. And my wife started crying when you came on because we watched your video when it went viral, and you were a motivation for us even after we stood again and again and again because of your stance. So I want to tell you, one, I can't wait to meet you in person because I double Googled you. I literally, we were on it. I'm like Googling, wait, this isn't the Angela. Who's on this with? She's like, my video went viral. I'm like, yeah, I've had one of those.
So I actually got involved when someone introduced me to, had me come on a news show and talk about the recall on OANN. And that's where I met Mike Netter, the Godfather. And that's how we started. That's what I call him. And so I became one of the mama bears for the Mama Bear recall. My family fled socialism. We fled a third world country. We came here for freedom and clean streets. And apparently we're going to get neither of them, but we're going to get the costs that go along with it. But my number one message is that you are not alone. If you think something is bat guano crazy, it is. Teaching Black kids that they are oppressed and that people are out to kill them and that white kids are the reason for that is bat guano crazy. Closing restaurants and telling people who's essential and who's not essential to work, bat guano crazy. To say that you have no control over what goes into your body, really that guano crazy. So I'm glad we're all together because I've always said you are not alone, California. There's more of us than there are of them. They've beaten us down. And everyone who speaks up is a light in the darkness.
Well, just a single mom. And, my sister got me into this. It wasn't even my idea. And I think it was kind of funny because I always was afraid to be confrontational. I don't buy that at all. I am the peace person. So I was like, come on, guys, calm down. And I'm like, no. Oh, you tell me to put on a mask now. No. But you're like, my sister, it was her. She's like, come on, we're going to get out there. They're all about this. And we went to the May 1st rally. And I had never felt that kind of camaraderie before. And I just knew, was like, this is getting bad. Wow. This is not okay. I just knew for that minute, was like, we're going into a lockdown. When have we ever done this? When has this ever happened in American history? And we usually fight things. We usually keep going. We keep our country going.
It felt very un-American.
Right. It's crazy. And, I'm just like this mom that I had to move back from San Diego because COVID happened and I couldn't work. I have a 2-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old daughter. So they're like, hey, now you got to teach Zoom and I've got a baby screaming in the background. I can't make deals. Right. What am I going to do? Be professional. Okay. So I decide, I'm like, you know what? I like this feeling. I've never really been that kind of outspoken person that way. But I definitely don't like bullies. And that's how it felt. I felt like we were just being bullied and shut up and do what you're told. Amen. And it's like, wait a minute, we have common sense. If something doesn't feel right, it's our liberty and it's our freedom to say, no, this isn't for me. And you should be able to stop it where it starts. Yeah. And actually, I was at your very first recall. That's how I met Kim. And it was my sister that dragged me over here. And I go, this guy at a wine bar wants us to set up in front of him? What are you talking about? But seriously, and I mean, that's why I wanted us all to come together because they need to see that this isn't a Republican recall. This is not a Republican recall. This is people's lives at stake. We're voting for our future. This is a race for our future.
Yeah.
And my friends laugh at me. They're like, Shannon, you're so optimistic. I'm like, what else can I do? Mm-hmm. What else can you do? Yeah. If you're not laughing, you're crying over what's going on. So you got to keep that momentum. You got to somehow tell yourself it's not the end yet. And you keep pushing until you win. And then when you get to the finish line, you find out if you won or you lose.
Yeah. Hi, Heather. So, hi, everybody.
Kind of a big deal, Heather.
Oh, no. I started, June of 2020. I don't know how. I've never been political like everybody else here. Never. I always voted, always paid attention, but not nearly as much as I have since March of 2020. And I just somehow saw the direction. And I started in the mailroom up here in Sacramento, which is at one of our the main petitioners' homes, actually. And we ended up having a full-time crew there for, from June of 2020 through March when we ended the petition. And then I I was asked to be the regional manager for Sacramento and 5 other counties in like September of 2020. So I've been the RM and then working in the mailroom and then helping with Shannon's teams and all of the other counties with communication and just at House of Olivers quite a bit because we get to drink our wine while we recall. And just like all of you guys, I follow Roxanne. I follow you on Twitter, and I've seen Angela. The Instagram video I remember seeing that day, and I just was so all of your words and your actions and your communication on all these social media platforms have helped keep all of us super motivated and know that we have teams up and down the state. And like you said, that we are the silent majority. They're just louder and they're more obnoxious.
Amy, how do you feel the hope of the state is right now? What are your expectations and what do you see the future looking like?
You know what? Even in those darkest days that you asked me about, I've always had hope. I mean, that's why all of us keep doing what we're doing. And so I actually am putting a lot of hope into the people that are watching. You've got your ballot. Roxanne, I saw your Twitter video of telling people about how to vote in the recall, answering question number 1. Yes, you want to remove Gavin Newsom. And then number 2, who you're going to vote for. So I actually want to share with you who I'm going to vote for. This guy is our hero. So like in the early days, like when San Diego was just completely shut down, Kevin actually came down to one of our freedom markets where we invited a whole bunch of businesses that had been shut down and were suffering so that they could actually make a little bit of money. And he actually spoke and he said, wow, he said, the energy is just amazing here. He said he hadn't seen anything like it in such a long time. So anyway, just watching Kevin fight, like early on, suing Gavin Newsom, that really just gave me hope in those dark days. And so, yep, he's got my vote. And I voted yesterday.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know much either.
I'm smarter now. Okay, I swear. I've been learning. And so we're in Yuba City. These guys are taking Newsom to court. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. There are assembly guys. And I'm like, well, what is an assembly? What is he doing? What? And then they're like, a lot of these ladies love Kevin. Okay. They love Kevin. And so they're like, oh, Kevin Kiley's here. I'm like, who the heck is Kevin Kiley? And I'm like, I'm just trying to get signatures. I am here to get rid of Newsom. And I'm like, they're like, no. We're going to stay and wait for Kevin Kiley. And I'm like, I got to leave. I got to go do some more stuff. The first time I met him was here at this book signing.
Yeah.
So I'd always kind of like missed him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, that's Kevin Kiley. And then all of a sudden I hear him speaking. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Who is this person?
Yeah.
I was like, I am into politics now. This person is just like, I had like a hero thing. I was
We
like,
have a messiah complex.
That's how I feel about Angela.
right?
So,
I couldn't even breathe almost. I was like, I got him to sign my flag. I was excited. It was my
I
recall
got
flag.
him to sign my flag too. Okay.
Oh,
He's
okay.
making everybody look bad, including the governor.
Shannon does his hair, by the way.
I do his hair and his makeup.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad because I did one time with him and his hair was like floppy and all over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, someone needs to help this
You know,
guy.
and he's just so intelligent. He's like, whatever, get out of my way. I need to tell you people stuff. And it's like, okay, I respect that.
I still
What I
have
like
a
is when you
doctor
put-
who cares more about freedom than about hair gel.
Yes.
Well,
We
I'm
love
kind of
Kevin
grateful
here in
for that.
San Francisco.
Yes.
Because we need that. I worry to people more about hair gel.
well, we have a governor, who cares about hair gel. What I like is Kevin and James Gallagher, when they're together, one's very much got the laid back surfer kind of vibe. One's the super duper intellectual, heady kind, and they really balance themselves well. And again, honored and privileged. I can't wait to be able to hang out with you all, raise a glass, and let's go make history. And those who are watching, you're going to help us make history.
Thank you, guys.
Vote yes on the recall, and let's make history together.